Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
Here it is, right here. I'm watching this on the Chiron on Fox right now. Fox poll, Democrats gain more ground as midterms near. Right? Jim's shaking his head. You're right? Tell me you're not thinking the same thing I am. How? I know, because I can see his head is tilted to his right, because his mind's to the left, because my, you may be seeing things backwards on the camera, but how? This isn't, listen, I'm sorry. This is, stick to the issues, crowd. This is kind of an issue. I still want to continue on this FBI story, but can you allow me kind of a TV timeout for a second and just, how is this? How are 45% approval for Biden and the 8 people? How is that? Guys, ladies out there, I need you to explain this to me. Please. My Facebook page, my True Social account, Twitter, I'm at D Bongino on that. My Facebook page is the checkmark. It's open for messages. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I need you to explain to me how the hell this guy could be at 45% approval and Democrats could be gaining ground. Look, keeping in mind, I'm not telling you Republicans are the answer to all your problems either. I get we have our dead wood. Totally understand. I'm not suggesting this is a nonpartisan segment either. I'm a conservative. I'm not pretending to be objective. This is subjective analysis, granted. But I'm trying to be objectively subjective, if that makes sense. What are you voting on? What are you voting on? Like, if I got a passion, listen to me. If you live in California or New York, you can still kill babies. They want to. They're pushing Kathy Hochul because the Supreme Court did not ban abortion. It said the states can take over. If you live in a liberal state that loves killing babies, you can do that. I wish you couldn't, but you can. What are you voting on? The great economy? We can't find jobs because these idiots paid people to stay home. We can't. There's open jobs everywhere. They can't find anyone to work. This is the most paradoxically insane poor economy I've ever seen in my life, where there are open jobs everywhere, yet inflation is up, like decimating the Phillips curve, right? Open jobs everywhere, yet no one wants to work. Yet they could work because their bargaining power has never been higher because inflation's driving up wages and there's open jobs. People don't want to work. They're not producing anything. We've now had 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, meaning we're in a recession. Inflation is as bad as we've seen in 40 plus years. Food inflation, the worst we've seen in 43 years. Gas prices, $1.30 more expensive than when Trump left office. Vladimir Putin sitting in Ukraine right now. The Chinese Communist Party is threatening to invade Taiwan, and whenever they feel like it. We got our military being taught that men are women and women are men. They're spending a good swath of time on CRT and how everybody's a racist. You got the FBI targeting their political opponents. I need an answer. What could you possibly be voting on? You know, we get liberal kooks that listen to the show. They're nuts. And I can see the stories already. Like, Dan Bongino loses it. You know, what are lefties voting on? No, please post it because I'm really serious. I need you to tell me what exactly it is that 45% of the country approves of in Joe Biden's latest approval rating that we just saw. And in this congressional ballot, 44 to 41%, a preference of Democrats. Granted, I get it. The polling's probably way off, folks. I totally understand that. But even building in, say, an incredible 10-point polling error, and that'd be ridiculous. And it's 34, whatever, 47 or something like that. Congressional approval, and Biden's at 35. even building in a dramatic 10-point error margin on the negative side. Who the hell are these 35 out of 100 people? Street crime exploding, the border totally wiped out, kids being killed by fentanyl. I mean, I'm sorry, I know I said the same thing opening the show, because I was talking about how we in America, I think, on the Democrat side, trying to answer this question for them, even though I'm at a loss here. I really think they've just embraced the suck. I'm telling you, I remember in my prior line of work, I remember going to Kigali, Rwanda, and sitting in a hotel that was kind of a mess. And the trip was, there were all kinds of headaches with the trip. It was hot. I was sick. I didn't feel good. I've been eating MREs for days. I mean, after a while, believe me, you get tired of the rice and chicken MRE, you know? First world problems, whatever. Feel bad for these military guys. They eat them all the time. But you know what happens with the MREs? You open them up, you start horse trading with your buddies. You take the Tabasco sauce, I'll take the graham crackers or whatever. And I remember my buddy saying, brother, embrace the suck. We're here, we got a job to do, we got to get it done. No one really cares if you're feeling sick. And I needed to hear that. Like, just shut up and get it done. You know, I remember being in Trinidad. I got sick in the Upside Down Hotel over there. It's built into the side of the mountain. You come in at the top floor, so it's actually upside down. To go to the top floor, you have to go down. They call it the Upside Down Hilton. And I'm sitting there, and it's the last day of my advance. It's probably 100 degrees. I'm sweating, listening to Obama give a speech. I've been throwing up all day. I probably lost 10 pounds of fluids. I'd had IVs and everything. And we're going up in the elevator. I'm white as a ghost. I'm in this packed elevator with Obama, the SAC, and the elite advance, this guy Steve. And he looks over at me and he sees like I'm about to throw up in this elevator with Obama in it because I'm so sick. And he sticks up 4 fingers, folks. Really down by his waist, like he does it really cryptic. He's got a suit on him, right by his belt line. He looks down at his hand, so I'll look at him. And he's got 4 fingers up. You're watching on Fox Nation, just like this. Like he would give him the middle finger with 4. And I'm looking at him puzzled, and I'm like, what's that? So he waves me off like, you know, it's the elevator. Like, we'll talk about it later. So trip's over. Finally, Obama gives a speech, leaves in the limo. I'm throwing up like crazy. I just pass out. I think I slept for 24 hours. I said to him later, I go, Steve, what was that for you were doing? He says, the 4th quarter, brother. It was the end of the trip. You stay in that damn game. You know what I mean? You don't come out of that game in the 4th quarter. That's embracing the suck. But that's embracing the suck in a positive way. Ladies and gents, man, I'm really sorry, but if that approval number for Biden is accurate at 45%, that means more than 4 out of every 10 Americans have embraced the suck we're living in so badly right now that they actually approve of it and welcome it. They don't want to come out of the game. They're enjoying this game. I don't know who these people are. No one in my neighborhood, I can tell you that. You know what I noticed? I noticed this last election cycle, we had primary elections down here in Florida. There's a couple guys down my block that are big Biden Democrat guys. You know, I saw almost no signs up for Democrats. I don't know where this is coming from. Folks, getting back to the FBI story, because it's the most important story of the day. We addressed it in the last hour, in the open of, not of this hour. I was talking about embracing the suck again, but how Miranda Devine broke this incredible story about the FBI and Facebook allegedly coordinating to read your private messages to target, basically, conservative Americans for surveillance. We are living in a police state. Now, living in a police state is bad enough, obviously. Living in a police state is a nightmare, a surveillance state. And the reason living in a police state is a nightmare it's obvious to most, but we should explain it sometimes, is there's no distinction between the personal and the public self. Think about that. Most of you have lived in what you believed was a free constitutional republic for a long time. You don't live in that country anymore. You live in a country right now where you could be targeted for surveillance because of your political beliefs, and many people have. Matter of fact, we have the great, and I do mean the great Julie Kelly, coming up at the top of the next hour to talk about exactly this. Folks, when there's no distinction between the personal and the public self, everything you do is the government's business. You thought you lived in a country. You thought you lived in a country where when you came home at night to your family and kids and you hit the garage door button behind you or you rolled it down or whatever you did, or you closed the door to your house. And when you got in your house, what you did there was private. As long as you didn't break the law. You're not, you don't have a fentanyl lab in your house. Whatever you do, you have date night with your wife. You want to watch a movie with your kids. These are private things. So, think about it, folks. Seriously, I know this isn't like the most appealing topic to talk about, but you wake up in the morning, you're in your bathroom, like you don't think someone's watching you. When you're in a totalitarian state, someone is always watching you. If you're a political target, always. You're shaving, doing your business, you're on a date with your wife, you're watching a movie with your kids. Someone's always watching you. You've never known that. You've never known that. Unless you're an immigrant from a socialist communist country listening to this show, you've never known that experience. Folks, that's happening now. There is no more personal public. Everything is public now because the police state entrepreneurs in the media and in the FBI and DOJ and on the Democrat side of the aisle, and candidly, swampy Patriot Act supporting Republicans too. They wanted this, and now we're here. Outside of that, the surveillance problems with you having no personal or public, no personal self, everything's public. They're always watching you all the time. The people who are watching you, ladies and gentlemen, want you to be treated as the enemy. Not as political opponents. They want you to be treated as the enemy. The demonization process, that's an overused word, but it's real. Turning you into some demon type, specter, some ghost, some evil, awful creature. It happens deliberately and over time, but it's done on purpose. I want you to listen to how they talk about you. I got two cuts for you right here. These are important. This is Senator Mazie Hirono, a genuine lunatic, one of the dumbest members of the United States Senate. She's a Democrat. Here's Mazie Hirono talking about the pro-life movement. Their only goal is to save human lives. I want you to listen very specifically as she says that this is, quote, literally a call to arms. Her words, not mine. Play that cut.
This is an outright attack on women in this country. That is how I see it. That is how more and more women and those who support our right to make decisions about our own bodies, that is how we see it. And why? Because that's what's happening. Madam President, I yield the floor, but clearly, this is a literally call to arms in our country.
Literally, a call to arms. Her words, ladies and gentlemen, that is an exact quote, not mine. So the pro-life movement wants to save women and men in the womb from being killed. And because we want to save them from being killed, we're the enemy and we deserve a literal call to arms. Her words, folks, not mine. Remember the Transition Integrity Project I covered a few weeks ago, talking about the 2020 transition? They wanted a street fight, not a judicial one. Make no mistake, the party of inciting and calling for violence lives exclusively on the left. Make no mistake about that. I have condemned, will condemn, and will always condemn the violence red line every single time on this show. Once you get into violence and cross that red line, there's no turning back. I will not stop doing that ever. Not because it's virtue signaling, because it's real. The left can't do that. They love violence. It's their coin of the realm. When your goal is to subjugate people in authoritarianism, this is how you talk. Jim, cue up for me the next one. Here's Tim Ryan. Awful, dreadful, liberal Democrat candidate for Ohio, where Donald Trump won, by the way, telling Trump supporters we need to kill the movement. Kill and confront it. His words, not mine. Check this out.
The Democrats aren't right on everything, and I'm willing to sit down and have conversations about how we can move out of this age of stupidity and into an age of reconciliation and reform. How do we fix all of these broken systems? Some of those answers will come from Republicans. It's not the extremists that we're dealing with every single day. We've got to kill and confront that movement.
Folks, their words, not mine. When your entire ethos, guiding ideological ethos, is subjugating other people by taking away their money, their kids, their education, and taking away their God-given rights. Violence is your coin of the realm. That is why the left has a love affair with violence. They want to put you in the ideological cell and they're going to push you in. Conservatives want to free you. There's no need to push. We just pull you out. All right, more on this the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Did you know it's been reported that the abortion pill now accounts for over 50% of all abortions? This chemical poisoning essentially ends a pregnancy before 11 weeks. No matter what state you're in, an abortion is just a virtual meeting away. Hi, this is Dan Bongino, and I want to invite you to join Preborn in their mission to help save babies' lives. Preborn has rescued hundreds of thousands of babies' lives through ultrasound and now offers a telehealth program to introduce expectant moms to the precious life growing inside of them.
I'm going to keep my baby, and I'm going to be a great mom.
Preborn's response is entirely dependent on you, the pro-life community. Your help is urgently needed now more than ever. Would you consider a tax-deductible gift of any size? To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com. That's preborn.com.
Dan Bongino.